Well, hello, folks, and a very pleasant good afternoon to you from Central Illinois, where we have got some terrific action here inside historic Huff Hall as the number 4 Michigan Wolverines travel to Illinois to take on the number 5 Illinois Fighting Illini. Should be an absolutely terrific afternoon of men's collegiate gymnastics. My name is Ethan Ostroba, joined here by Kaylee Hill and Dylan Shepard. And Kaylee, this should be fireworks all afternoon long.
This is going to be a fire meet, I'm telling you right now, both teams as they're standing for their starting lineups right now. This is going to be a huge meet for both of the teams.
And his second season as your head coach, Daniel Rivero.
Now the introductions taking place for Illinois for what promises to be a sensational meet. And Dylan Shepard, a member of this Illinois team, nobody knows this squad better than you. What do you expect to see from them today?
We're really expecting to see a huge performance from the Illini today. We're really looking to improve on their huge win versus number 1 Oklahoma last weekend. And honestly, this is probably the biggest meet of the regular season for Illinois and Michigan, as at the end of the season there will be a regular season Big Ten champion. Also, the Illini do have a disadvantage in start value, but one thing that we do well is we have the advantage in execution during the routine. So we're really going to be looking for good stuck landings and well-executed routines.
Yeah, and this Michigan team, one of the most acrobatic and high-flying teams in the nation. So talented, especially on the high bar. You talk about their pair of studs. You've got Paul Judah, the 5th-year standout. He's going to be participating in the all-around today. Missed last season, but he looks every bit like himself as he gets set for the new year here in the first couple of meets. And then you've got, of course, Fred Richard, the young burgeoning star, a guy who's an international medalist, an NCAA champion 3 times over, including in the all-around in his first season. Had some concerns with load management, managing his international obligations, but when he was out there, he was nothing short of terrific, and that's absolutely what we expect from him today. And then, of course, you've got Crew Bold, and he's not far behind that pair of Quasars in the high bar. That pairing at the end should be absolutely terrific. There is star power up and down this Michigan lineup. They've got a slight advantage in terms of their start values. Such an acrobatic and a talented team. Probably about a 6-point edge in terms of the start values, which means, Kaylee, that Illinois is going to have to be a lot cleaner than Michigan if they're going to win this meet.
Yeah, absolutely. This is definitely meaning that Illinois is definitely going to have to stick more of their landings. Basically, essentially thinking about it, this means that Illinois needs to, just laying it out there, out-hit Michigan. This is a Big Ten's plays first meet, so this is a really great start to a road to nationals. You know, this is the 230th time that Michigan and Illinois are going against each other, both in the postseason and regular season. So this should be an interesting meet for sure.
Yeah, 230 times, and you can't imagine there's been many that have been more hyped up than this one. Obviously, gymnastics, it's a sport about controlling what you can control, but you have to imagine that these couple of coaches are hyped up for their teams to have the opportunity to take down one of the top 5 in the nation. Definitely some extra motivation there as we get set to go for a full afternoon of top 5 action in the Big Ten from George Huff Hall. Just moments away from the start here. 6 apparatuses ready to roll for these couple of squads. And it is going to be Amari Sewell to start things off for the Illini. This guy transferred from Iowa, so he's a Big Ten veteran, sat out the entirety of 2022, but he came back and made his Illini debut with a bang, was a finalist for Illini Athletics Newcomer of the Year, and was an All-American on vault in the NCAA and the CGA. He's got a terrific floor routine as well, guys.
Absolutely. I'm here with Dylan to kind of talk us through his routine here. Had a little bit of a hop over there.
Amari's got some huge passes. The big thing for him today will be the landings. As you can see on that last pass, he had a small hop, possibly a 3/10 deduction, but nothing too severe there.
It's always tough being the first one to go, you have to imagine, in a meet. What is that like, Dylan, trying to set the tone?
It's a little bit nerve-wracking, but once you get started, I mean, it's so high energy, and it's really a good way to set the team off for success with a huge starting routine.
And you see the crowd coming to their feet there as he completes that pass.
Another 3/10 hop there. And a huge full twisting double back dismount. Small hop on the landing, but overall a great routine from Amari.
Look at him celebrating right there.
They did a nice job of making up for the deductions with the challenge of that routine and gets the Illini off to a solid start as here goes David Woma for Michigan, set to get things going. He himself is a two-time All-American in vault. He was third in the NCAA finals in vault last year with a stellar 14.9 score, and several times he has claimed the Specialist of the Week award in the Big Ten. So vault is his speciality, but obviously there's some correlation between the success and the power in vault and in floor. He's got an electric floor routine as well.
A bit of an over-rotation there, kind of went a little forward. A lot of times with these floor routines, you see all these guys, and they got a lot of power to them. So sometimes you could get lost in the air and almost lose your balance a little bit.
As you can see there, on the full, he did a front full into a double front and took 2 3/10 steps backwards, so that's going to hurt his score a little bit there.
He's got a nice stick for his side pass.
Woma averaging a 13.267 so far this year on the floor in the first couple of meets of the season, trying to set the tone for Michigan.
Woma is gearing up for a huge dismount here.
Step forward.
Big hop there, but overall a pretty high start value on that, so hopefully it won't be too detrimental to the score.
Definitely.
Now that 5.4 start value for Woma, able to buoy what was a substandard routine, at least by his standards. But again, really tough to set the tone and get things going. And speaking of setting the tone, that's something that Evan Manavong has done for years, a fifth-year veteran of the Illini. And this is one of those guys that Coach Daniel Ribeiro really said he sets the tone for this team. He gets them going. He establishes the culture, this triumvirate, if you will, alongside Michael Fletcher and Connor McCool. They are the engine that makes this whole thing go, a trio of veterans, and we'll see what Manavong has here for the Illini.
Starting up with some solid passes. A few little hops. There we go, with a nice stick.
So far, so good for the Illini. Of course, Coach Ribeiro really emphasized the need to hit these routines, the need to avoid falls. They can take a couple of slight deductions, but they need to keep things cleaner than Michigan on the day if they're to have a chance. And I don't think there's anybody you would rather see out there right now than Manavong. He's been doing this for some time at a high level, trying to get the Illini off to a great first couple of routines today.
Nice 2.5 punch front layout there, small hop.
Very clean layout.
And he's gearing up for a huge triple full dismount here. And just a 3/10 step to the side. Overall, clean routine, a good second hit for the Illini.
Yeah, one of those guys, a part of that trio referred to as the standard, and he sets the standard there. Maybe limping a little bit. That might be something to keep an eye on. He seemed perhaps slightly shaken up in warm-ups, but he looked good to go there out on the mat. Nicely done, a quality routine, as here comes Casey Cummings, the graduate student, hails from California. He's averaging a 13.2 on floor so far this season. This dude is an Ironman. He's competed on vault and floor in every single meet last season, and looking to establish things for Michigan once more with his tenacity and competitive drive as he gets set for his routine.
Michigan needs a big routine here. A 12.35 from David Wolma is not the greatest score, so looking for a nice routine here. A fall from Casey on the whip into a double Arabian there. That's going to hurt. And he goes down again.
This is where that mental toughness really comes into play. You've got to find a way to regroup. I know when we're commentating women's gymnastics, Kaylee, that's something we touch on a lot, the ability to get back on your feet quite literally and continue your routine for your team.
Definitely, for sure. I know that Ethan and I have talked about this before, but in gymnastics in general, it's not only a competition against another team or two other teams, but it's also almost like a competition against yourself. You have to make sure that you're really keeping up with that tenacity and keeping up with that momentum to just bounce, come back on your feet.
Nice finish, back 2.5 dismount, small step.
Cummings finds his way through it. He's had clutch performances before, 14.7 on the vault in the Big Ten Team Championships last time around, but certainly not his best one on this occasion. So Michigan off to a little bit of a slow start here. This is what the Illini need. They need a couple mistakes from the Wolverines to open the door, as Michael Fletcher takes center stage for the Illini, the 6th-year veteran. Following up Manavong, two guys that have been strutting their stuff for Illinois for a very long time at a very high level.
Good 2.5 front layout for Fletcher, small step.
So far, so good for Fletcher. You can see he's definitely gaining that momentum.
A little bit of a mistake there. That was supposed to be a tuck front full. He had a bit of a backwards punch from that 2.5 and had to adjust and do a front half. So that's going to be a 1/10 decrease in start value there. But overall, not detrimental.
With men's gymnastics, they're required to do a non-acrobatic element in order to receive full difficulty. That's what you're seeing right now. Very nice stick.
A great triple full dismount from Michael Fletcher. Overall, pretty clean routine.
Very, very, very good.
He is fired up. The Illini can't mention he's a guy who's been building up on floor, pushing into the 14s, and he might have just gotten there right now. 3 clean routines, 3 hits for Illinois to get things going. And now Michigan will turn to the rock of their rotation, Paul Judah, the Illinois native. He's going to be competing in the all-around today. Guy who can do a little bit of everything at a very high level. I mean, this guy's resume reads like a novel at this point, as he'll look to start up Michigan's engine in earnest.
First 3 passes very clean.
So far, so good for Judah. Very clean landings, mainly small hops, which are going to be 1/10 in deduction.
Here's his non-acrobatic element.
What he's doing is called the Thomas Flare. He gets a good amount of difficulty from those 2 skills there. he does a good job of staying in bounds on that dismount. 310 pop backwards. That is going to be the highest score of the day for Michigan.
And you can see from the reaction, Judah fired up, a guy who's performed at a high level at so many meets in his career. Gets this one off to a nice start as Tate Costa, the sophomore, is ready to rock. He is a captain on this team, a very rare honor for a sophomore. But this is a guy who the Illinois coaches described as the hardest worker on this team in the gym. And that's saying something when you've got people that have been at it and at it in a big way for 5-6 seasons. Coach Ribeiro said he's got a lot coming to him, and he deserves every bit of it. Competing in 4 events today, this will be the first.
Tate has been a rock on the floor this season so far. Putting up multiple scores in the 14 so far. He's really leading the way for a great floor lineup.
Pretty much a stick.
Here he's doing his non-acrobatic element. He does a V-hold and then presses into a handstand. Good hold there.
Set up for a layout for his side pass. And a very nice stick. Once again, another stick.
And now he's leading up for a big front double full dismount here. And he
Once
gets
again, another stick.
huge routine for the Illini. That should go into the 14-plus territory. Best routine of the day by far.
As he comes back to the bench to a hero's welcome. Excellent stuff from Tate Costa. He's another guy that the Illini said he can get up in the 14s, and he certainly did, we would anticipate, right there. As Landon Blixt is next up for Michigan. The sophomore averaging a more than respectable 13.725 on the floor this year, and that's buoyed by a terrific, lofty 6.0 start value. This is a guy who's been able to contribute at the college level right from the jump, an NCAA All-American on floor and first-team All-Big Ten in his freshman season last year. And the Michigan coaching staff really emphasized his Team USA experience, getting him ready to contribute at the college level like he is right now.
Landon's looking to improve on a huge 14-3 from Paul Judah.
You can definitely see with this routine that Michigan is not giving up the fight just yet.
That's certainly a marathon, not a sprint. All these apparatus, and especially in men's gymnastics, we can see things swing so quickly, even 2, 3, 4-point swings on a single apparatus. Every score counts. You don't get to drop any of them. So there is pressure on every single aspect of every single routine, and Blixt is handling it adequately and admirably right now.
Another solid stick for Michigan. Opened up with a stick and ended with a stick.
That's going to be another huge score for Michigan. They really need that after having an 11-5-5 second half.
Pure jubilance from Landon and his teammates. And it's really game on now. This is where it sets in. These are a couple of top 5 programs in the nation going to work. And now it is Connor McCool set to go. He is 13th ranked in the country on floor. A vault and floor specialist. He has been terrific at those for a very long time. In fact, the 2023 CGA Specialist of the Year and a 16-time floor event champion throughout his career. So he's certainly in the running for another one today, despite some of the big scores we've seen put up already.
Connor's going to lead off with a huge 2.5 twisting backflip. Small step there.
Very nice combination with a stick. Grad student from New Jersey has been a powerhouse for this team. You can definitely see that in this routine.
Yeah, he has been, but his proficiency is almost used against him a little bit. This is something that has been a bit of a challenge for him. These Illinois judges have seen him time and again, and so they're clued in on every little mistake he makes, but he's doing a great job not making too many of them right now.
The best thing about Connor is his landings. He really knows how to put it down and get the stick, and that's where the big score comes from.
In gymnastics, there's a lot of different elements that go into the judging and the scoring, and the landing is definitely a big part of it. Execution, landing, difficulty, all of it's extremely important, and that was definitely shown from Connor McCool.
What a moment for Connor McCool. We've seen this movie before, but he delivers another brilliant opus for the Illini on floor, and that should be a huge score. As Crew Bold is ready to go, another graduate student, part of that terrific high bar trio, but he's no slouch on the floor either. Already a CGA Specialist of the Week earlier this season. And while this may not be his best event, he has been rock solid so far, averaging over a 13.5 with a 5.5 starting value for the Wolverines.
First stuck pass. Bit of a hop back for the second combination.
And a big 14-5-5 for Connor. That's a really nice score, and it's going to put the Illini into a great position going into Pommel Horse.
And that is, of course, Illinois' strongest event. They'll want to stake themselves to a pretty significant lead before the apparatuses, where Michigan has a little bit of an advantage, namely the rings and both the bar sets toward the end of the day.
So far, so good for Crew.
Bit of a step back, but a pretty much overall solid routine.
Yeah, definitely had a few large hops and steps in that set, but good difficulty and an overall nice routine for Michigan.
As we wait for the final scores to trickle in, it does seem likely that the Illini will have a slight edge here with that imposing event total of nearly 69 points, 68.9 for the Illini. Two different scores, the final two in the 14s. Just waiting on the score for Bold to see exactly what the margin is. But certainly more than satisfactory work from both of these top 5 teams. They are living up to the hype thus far.
The final deduction to inform Pommel is the discount. If you see a gymnast pause at all, they will automatically incur immediately.
Now the Illini guys, they've been really strong on horse all season long, but they have yet to go 5 for 5, hitting all their routines without a fall this season. What is it going to take, Dylan, for them to get that done this time on horse?
I think the big thing is just confidence, especially with freshman Brandon Dang. He has one of the highest start values in the country. There's maybe only 2 or 3 other guys who even come close to his start value on the Pommel Horse. But the big thing is him just being confident in his swing and knowing what he can do, and he can put up a huge 15-plus score on the Pommel Horse.
A Pommel Horse specialist is Dang, a guy who won countless national titles in that discipline in high school. Took home 6 of them to be exact. A 5-time member of the USA Gymnastics All-Star team back in his prep career. But make no mistake, this Michigan lineup is really solid in that regard as well, and we're going to get to see for the first time the sensational, the transcendent sophomore from Massachusetts, Fred Richard, who really thrilled in his debut. An easy win for Michigan as they cruised past Army, the 12th ranked team in the nation. Richard with a ridiculous 6'2" start value, and it should be exciting to see one of the best in the nation at work for the first time today. Well, a little bit of momentary confusion with the scores on floor, but once the dust has settled, it's going to be better than a 2-point advantage for the Illini. 69 even for Illinois, 66.550 for Michigan.
And that's exactly what you want going into an event like Pommel Horse. It really can change everything. It's so tough to stay on, and having that advantage can be really nice going into a strong event for the Illini. Michigan really needs to put up something good.
Yeah, there's pressure on both teams here because Illinois knows they need to capitalize because this is their event. This is their best opportunity to really throw up a huge score. And they know Michigan's going to be breathing down their necks if they falter in any way, shape, or form. But of course, Michigan dealing with that pressure that comes from simply falling behind, not having quite the start that you want. As we get ready to go with Zach Granados, the sophomore has got a 5.8 start value on his Pommel Horse routine, second only to the outstanding Fred Richard. Somewhat of a wild card guy. He saw some action as a freshman, but he's got some real potential if he's able to hit on this routine.
With a Pommel Horse, there's definitely a lot of different elements to go into this. A lot of strength, a lot of core strength, but also a lot of balance, similar to women's gymnastics and beam. You can see him doing really well so far.
Bit of some deductions in the Russians there, but a strong finish for Michigan.
Granados setting the tone there and doing a nice job of it. Interesting to see an underclassman in that leadoff spot, but he delivers there, trying to get Michigan right back on course. As here comes Connor Miklos, another sophomore starting out here, and he's been in and out of the lineup this season. Just a 12.95 in his only attempt on a horse yet this year. But this is kind of a product of the cutthroat and ruthless competition system that the Illini have instituted. They score all their routines in practice, and this is a guy who's obviously been excelling in the gym to get this type of an opportunity here, Dylan.
Yeah, for sure. Getting a spot in a meet like this is really big, and so the coaches obviously have trust in him. A little bit of a leg separation there on the Russian. One of the main things that the judges are looking for when they're traveling across the horse is if their shoulders and their hands are square together, because if not, it can be a huge deduction.
Look at that dismount.
Some leg separations, but overall a strong set.
So a couple of youngsters starting things off, and now the freshman, Kevin Chow, is set to go. Much like Brandon Dang for the Illini that we're going to see a little bit later, he's a true specialist in the Pommel Horse a 2022 Pommel Horse National Champion, a two-time runner-up in that discipline in his prep career. Really cerebral guy, the valedictorian of Valley High School in Iowa upon his graduation in 2023 as well. And definitely very sharp on and off of the apparatus here. We'll see what he can throw down for the Wolverines.
Connor Miklos scores a 13-2, not bad for that set.
Slight edge for the Illini on the first couple. Granados coming in at a 12-9. Miklos, as you mentioned, Dylan, the 13.2. So the Illini looking to continue to swell their lead as Chow gets ready to work on the horse.
So far, swinging pretty strong.
You know, there's so many different events in gymnastics, but specifically with pommel horse, Dylan, what do you think is really going through their head when they hop on the pommel horse? What is their number one goal?
Yeah, pommel horse is probably the most nerve-wracking event, but especially for these pommel specialists, they know how to do it. They've done it hundreds of times, so going up, they just got to do what they did in the gym, and they'll see the results.
Nothing truly prepares you for those competitions, but Chow seemed ready for the moment there as Sebastian Ingersoll, the Chicago native, local guy, is ready to rock on the horse, averaging just over a 13 on the season. He's fairly raw in terms of experience, just 10 meets entering this year in his career, even though he is a senior, but he's already set new career highs in rings and high bar this year, and he is a stud on horse, top 5 in the nation last year at the NCAA Championships, and NCAA postseason All-American, and somebody who's only continuing to improve after being the most improved gymnast all the way back in 2021 in this Illini program.
As you can see, he does both one-arm spinning elements called a sewn and a bazugo, both highly rated skills there.
Leg separation.
He fights through the leg separations and gets to the dismount. That's what the Illini need right now. They need hit sets to control their lead over Michigan.
Here comes Paul Judo once again, competing in every single event today. On the all-around for Michigan, he got off to an outstanding start, blasting up into the 14s in his floor routine, looking to follow it up on the pommel horse. Guy is a two-time Big Ten Gymnast of the Year and the 2022 NCAA all-around champion. More than capable of handling every apparatus with ease and grace. No, Coach Yao of Michigan really emphasized his hard work and his leadership as being some of his strongest traits. Guy who's vital to this program in every facet.
Dylan mentioned earlier that there's a lot of control that's needed to be here, especially for this event. You can definitely see he's holding up with a lot of control.
And almost entirely flare elements throughout this routine. Something that you don't see from everyone, but he does exceptionally well.
And he sticks his dismount.
The Illinois native having fun in his home state. A couple of really strong routines to get it going. More scores trickling in. Kevin Chow in the 13.5s for Michigan. And 12.8 for Sebastian Ingersoll. So Michigan starting to chip away a little bit as Will Hawk gets ready to go. Put up a 13.825 in his only meet on January 20th on the horse this season. The Illini in total as a team with kind of a low start value on some of these events today. So they're relying on a lot of these big hitters to make sure that they hit big. That'll certainly be the case with Hawk on the parallel bars later today, but we'll see what he can do on the horse for his squad as well.
So far, pretty strong swing from Will.
Around the pommel horse he goes.
He does a good job at keeping his hands square throughout these travels, and now he's gearing up for the dismount. And a really strong routine from Will there. That is going to be a huge score.
He's fired up, his teammates jubilant as they swarm him as he heads back to the bench, really throwing down the gauntlet here. That's what the Illini need to do. And they put some pressure on Landon Blix as he gets set to go after a strong start on the floor. Much like Judah, looking for a couple of good routines to start this day off. So far, Michigan doing a nice job keeping pace with Illinois on what should be the Illini's strongest event. So that was a key bit of work from Hawk to really show his best stuff there and put the Illini back to where they want to be. We'll see what Blix has for a counterpunch.
As you can see, all the gymnasts start out with what we call the scissor element, where they kind of straddle their legs and get up into the middle of the horse. And the big thing with that is that the judges are looking for full support over the horse, and their legs cannot hit or they can potentially lose credit for the skill. Ooh, and Landon falls off on the Russian element there.
Springs back to his feet. That's good to see, and that is the second miss today, the second fall for Michigan, where we've seen the Illini pretty clean, and so things going according to plan for Illinois so far. They have hit on every single one of their routines to date. So Illinois starting to chip away at that projected deficit in terms of the start values with some of these blunders by Michigan as Blix remounts.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Dylan, but I believe that there's a 45-second period where they get a chance to get back on their feet. How does that work in men's gymnastics?
So yeah, it's actually a 30-second period. And what happens is if the gymnast does not get back on in 30 seconds, then they will be deducted 3/10 off of their final routine score, along with the fall that they already had. But a strong finish there from Blix, hoping to still get a decent score from that routine.
They did a nice job bringing it back from the clutches of despair, so to speak, as here comes Max Farkadu, a Buffalo Grove, Illinois native, along with Paul Judah. Grew up in a similar region and now competing here on the Big Ten stage. Another postseason All-American in the pommel horse, the most improved gymnast on this Illinois team back in 2023. Really had a breakout season last year, looking to continue that momentum into 2024.
Strong start so far. And a big 14-3 score for Will. That is really going to help Illinois pull away.
Yeah, and Landon Blix with just a 12-8 with that fall, as there's the first fall for Illinois.
Unfortunately, it looked like his hand slipped at the end of that element there.
So you talk about those 30 seconds, Dylan. What is going through your mind in those 30 seconds? How are you trying to regroup and get your routine restarted from the middle of it?
Yeah, the most important thing to do is realize that everything you do from there on out is still going to count towards your score. So you're really looking to put up a strong finish, because one fall is detrimental, but two falls or even worse can really bring the team score down. So you really want to have a just clear mind and finish up the set like you know you ought to do.
The looked to be not as a clean landing as we were hoping for, but he does stick his landing.
Yeah, on that dismount there, everything pretty clean. He ended up landing on the wrong side of the pommel horse, which is going to be a 3/10 deduction, but nothing severe there.
And now our first glimpse at the outstanding Fred Richard and his routine with an outlandish 6.2 start value. I mean, this guy accomplished so much in so little time. They managed his load as he was obviously working at the international level as well, a international medalist, and had a ridiculous freshman season, even though he only appeared in 10 meets, an NCAA champion in 3 different disciplines. Pommel horse, not one of them, but he is sensational at it and could very well be a contender for the national crown this time around. Bottom line is, whenever Fred Richard is out here for Michigan performing gymnastics, he is sensational. A little bit banged up to start the year, according to the folks over at Michigan. But they say he's good to go, ramping up, participated in 2 events last time in his season debut against Army, now participating in 4 today.
You can see some of those flare elements that we were talking about earlier.
Fred has a decently high start value of a 16.2. So that can produce a huge score like he did versus Army with a huge 15.0. Everything looking good so far.
And if he can get through this routine the way that he's done, I think this would be a huge win for Michigan as they keep pace with Illinois.
A little bit of struggle there on the dismount, but a hit routine, and that's exactly what Michigan needs right now.
And now, on the pommel horse for Illinois, a freshman from San Jose, California, Brandon Day.
Well, here comes that man, Brandon Dang, to a warm reception from this Illini crowd. This is all that he does. This is all he has really ever done. A pommel horse specialist by trade, and boy, oh boy, is he good at it. Ranked number 8 in the nation in horse, matching that massive start value. And a guy who's so talented that he's earned the anchor position over Ingersoll and Farkedu, who are a couple of guys who were among the top in the nation last year. Already a Big Ten freshman of the week after putting up a big 14-4 on horse on January the 20th. But this is a guy who, as you mentioned, Dylan, he's consistently putting up 15+ in practice, and they need to see that consistency from him in these actual meets, do the Illini.
Yeah, and he has the potential to be the #1 in the country as he gets things going here. Really nice set. He actually did take out one skill called the bazoogo, but potentially to hold the lead over Michigan with a huge set there.
Nicely done from Dang at a time when Illinois really needed it. He comes up in a huge way to help the Illini tread water in a horse rotation that didn't go quite as well as they had hoped. Michigan getting gritty, finding a way, keeping it clean, 1 fall for each squad, 4 hit routines. As we wait for that final score to come in for Dang, and take a quick break here for what has been a fast start to a match that has lived up to the billing thus far.
The third deduction to look for on rings are armbands. Gymnasts are never allowed to bend
And a 15-1 for Brandon Dang. Terrific stuff from him. He keeps the Illini out in front by just over 3 points. That's where Illinois wants to be. We'll see what Michigan can do, taking advantage of a possible weakness for the Illini. We'll take a quick break and be right back to historic Huff Hall with more terrific top 5 action from within the Big Ten.
The
Hello, gymnastics fans, and welcome back to Champaign, Illinois, where the Illinois Fighting Illini are harboring a slim lead over the Michigan Wolverines. As we get set for the next pair of routines, getting ready for the still rings, which should be a real opportunity for Michigan to make up some ground.
As we just finished the event on the Pommel horse, there were 2 falls from both Illinois and Michigan. So it's going to be interesting to see how both teams can recover from that.
It was entertaining, it was intense. Both teams excelled at times, but also had a couple of low moments. We saw some terrific routines at the end there. Some of the biggest start values, some of the most talented young gymnasts in Brandon Dang and in Fred Richard. And it was electric. This is what college gymnastics is all about. As we are really just getting started with the action. Set to get going on the still rings. It'll be Tate Costa setting things off, the versatile and talented sophomore captain for the Illini. Tate, a guy who really means so much to this team. He's improved so much. How does a guy like him at such a young age manage to really round out his game to that extent, Dylan? What do you see in him?
Honestly, everyone strives to be like Tate. He's a great leader for the team. He really knows how to pick himself up after a bad day. He's the guy that goes in every day and puts in the work, and he's seeing the results this year as he's made major improvements over his freshman season.
That certainly takes a level of mental toughness to be able to do 4 routines the way that he does and not let one tough routine carry into the next as he starts the Illini off with a bang.
Good routine there, just a 110 hop on the dismount.
Now, Michigan,
Rethik Puri, Chicago native, back in his home state here. Ready to start it off, him and his brother Akshay. Akshay a freshman, Rethik a junior. Are gonna get things started back to back. Pretty cool. A pair of brothers competing at the highest level in collegiate gymnastics. As here goes Rethik Puri for Michigan.
The big thing that the judges are going to be looking for here are holds on the strength positions like this. He goes into what is called a straight planche, and he has to hold it for at least 2 seconds to get full credit. Another one called the Maltese there. Comes in a little high, that could be a 3/10 deduction, but gets the hold.
Another important aspect of the still rings is quite literally in the name, making sure those still rings are staying still. A lot of rockiness, a lot of swinging back and forth. Judges aren't going to be looking for that.
Tate Costa coming in with a 13.3 for his rings routine. That'll bump up his season average by a little bit.
One thing that Michigan does have over the Illini is they have a lot more of the strength elements in the routine, so a big thing for the Illini is going to be stuck landings in order to bridge that gap in difficulty.
Looks like he had a bit of a hop, or not hop, excuse me, he had a bit of a step back.
Garrett Schooley.
As here comes Garrett Schooley, the freshman, making his season debut on rings. Been really strong this season so far on vault. He is a really exciting vault competitor, but already as a freshman making an impact on multiple different apparatus, as he'll go second for Illinois.
Very clean into the Yamawakis. little bit of bobble there, hopefully just a 10th. And a stuck double dismount from Garrett Schooley.
And the Illini have got to be thrilled with that performance from Schooley, a guy who's in the lineup again because he is so strong on vault. He's got that massive start value. He can potentially bump it all the way to a 15.6. If he can put that one on his feet, it's going to be electric. But this is just gravy here for him to be able to go up there and put up a strong score on rings, as here comes Ash K. Fury, guy who's had a stellar club career, the 2023 individual rings national champion at the club level. His brother, Rethik, made an immediate impact as a freshman and a sophomore. Now Akshay doing the exact same thing. Guy who's got tremendous leadership for a young guy, the captain of his club team, and a terrific performer as well. Following up his brother, looking to put up a big score for Michigan.
Just like his brother, he does the Maltese and plant strength position. He's a really strong competitor on the rings.
.7 for his brother Rethik, and Ash K trying to follow it up with an even stronger score here.
Bit of a hop back. Michigan and Illinois are definitely going to be fighting to the death for this one.
Overall solid stuff. Not sure what the Puries were feeding these kids, but they are both terrific gymnasts from the same household and at the same collegiate program, and both performing at a very high level for Michigan. Sebastian Ingersoll up next, also a Chicagoan, and he's set new career highs on the rings and the high bar this season, as we mentioned. So looking to continue to build on that momentum that he has forged for himself early this season on rings.
Good hold on the cross position there.
He has excellent upper body strength and a lot of control, which is another key element of what the judges are looking for here. Stuck dismount.
That's going to be a good score for the Illini. So far, already 2 out of 3 stuck dismounts on the rings.
Yeah, this is exactly what Illinois needed. Something that Coach Ribeiro mentioned for Illinois. If we can keep it within about 2.5 points on the rings, we're willing to concede that to Michigan. They're well on their way to keeping pace, much like Michigan hung in there against the Illini and their strong suit on horse. Illinois is now reciprocating that favor here on rings so far, as Chris Reed is up next, the rings and vault specialist.
And as you can see, even with the Illinois stuck dismounts, Michigan is still pulling away a little bit just because of their sheer difficulty.
Yeah, the onus is on the Illini to keep things clean. And if Michigan does the same, they will get a very strong result through this rotation. So far, so good for the Wolverines, as Reed, the senior who grew up in the shadow of University of Michigan from Ann Arbor, looks to deliver on the road for his hometown team.
And he was slightly low in the Maltese position, so interesting to see what the judges will do with that.
That will be counting towards a little bit of a deduction there. He did kind of have a big step out of that, so.
Potentially 2 3-10 steps there, but overall a strong routine.
And here comes Logan Myers for Illinois, the penultimate competitor for the Illini, guy who has had a really circuitous career. He came on strong as a freshman, faded a little bit in his sophomore year, and then he misses all of last year with an injury, but he's having a resurgent campaign now, averaging better than a 13.3 on rings for Illinois as he hops up there to get things going. Guy who's won a couple of high bar titles this year. Trying to chip in this discipline also.
Really strong handstand position for Logan here.
Incredible core strength is definitely needed for still rigs.
And a step back on the double-double, but a really clean routine, hoping to stay in the 13s again for the Illini.
Now here come the heavy hitters for the Wolverines. Paul Judah, his third event already. He is scheduled to go. Judah's been setting the standard for quite some time, averaging a 14.45 on the rings with a start value of that 5.0. Can push it all the way up to 15, basically. Now he's very clean, one of the cleanest gymnasts out there on most of his apparatus, as he looks to help Michigan continue to chip away at that now waning Illini advantage.
This is definitely a hard hitter for the Wolverines. So far, a very clean routine.
Yeah, he's so dependable in everything he embarks on. Looking good up there right now for Michigan.
And a stuck dismount for Paul Judah there. That was a late in, half in, half out dismount.
And what a day so far for Judah. I mean, is there anything this guy can't do? I mean, in the sport of gymnastics, quite literally, no. This guy is an all-arounder. You rarely see this in the men's game with the 6 different apparatuses, and he can take on every single one of them. As we pivot from him to one of the best specialists in the sport, number 5 in the country on rings, Ashton Anaya, averaging a 14.3 so far this season. Twice a first-team All-Big Ten contender and a 2-time Big Ten champion and postseason All-American, the still rings national champ. A terrific resume in this particular event. Guy who put up a 14.8 at the NCAA championship back in April. Really exciting gymnast to watch. Very prodigious. He graduated high school at the age of 16, spent a couple years at community college, and then found his way to Illinois, and he has not looked back, trying to put an exclamation mark on what has been a solid rotation for Illinois.
And Illinois is going to need a big score here from Ashton to continue their lead over Michigan. And that was an Azarian into a Maltese. Very nice there. And Ashton's got a huge 15.8 start value, so a lot of room to get a huge score there. Really solid into the Maltese there. And again into the cross.
really solid routine for Illinois.
Holding some of those positions in apparent perpetuity, looking like Atlas holding up the earth in Greek mythology. This dude is tremendous. He's been doing it for a while. He's been doing it at a very high level. You can see what made him the national champion in that discipline. Big time routine for Illinois.
And that should score in the 14s for Ashton there.
Much needed boost for the Illini as they look to continue to bolster their slim lead. But it'll be Michigan with the last say, and Javier Alfonso in the rings and in the parallel bars. He is clutch cargo every time, the anchor in both of those events for this Michigan squad. And he scored a career-high 15.1 on still rings in Chicago earlier this season, January the 13th to be exact. This guy is an assassin in this discipline. He can do it with the very best of them.
Slightly high coming into that uprise invert, but nothing too detrimental there. Again, a little bit of a dip in the legs there on that planche, so could be a potential 3/10 deduction there. Bit of a bobble there on the giant.
And a bit of a hop on that landing.
Couple of slight miscues, but with that astronomical start value, should still be a decent score for Alfonso as we come to the halfway point in this meet. And get set for probably the seminal event in all of gymnastics. It's just so much fun. It's so iconic. It is so quick. We get ready to go for the vault. A few brief moments that can really impact everything in terms of scoring, Kaylee.
And Ashton and I gets a massive 14.4 score, and we'll see what Javier gets, potentially in that range.
And the Illini were very consistent there on still rings. Nobody putting up a score below 13, and Ashton hitting big when he needed to. They managed to scrounge up an event total of 67.6 as we still await Alfonso's score that will solidify things through this third rotation. And Alfonso coming in with a 14.3, so just one tick behind Ashton Anaya. And I'd say it's mission accomplished there for the Illini. While on Pommel horse it was advantage Illinois and Michigan managed to surprise. Here was Illinois managing to stay tethered to the Wolverines and keep pace in what seemed to be advantage Michigan. So both these teams really showing their grit, and Illinois have staked themselves to a slight advantage, 204.55 to 202.9 as we get set for the vault. Such a thrilling event, such a definitive event in this sport.
You know, we keep saying over and over again, this is probably one of the biggest meets of Illinois and Michigan season, and we're seeing that right in front of us right now.
Yeah, these two teams showing what they're made of, showing why they're national contenders, both ranked in the top 5 right now. As you mentioned, these are teams that have faced off 230 times in their history, this being the 230th endeavor. And yet it really feels like not many of those meets have been bigger and more hyped and more anticipated than this one, as Casey Cummings gets set for his second routine of the day. Looking to start things off for Michigan. He's got the lowest start value on vault for this Michigan team.
Can he come back?
And although the start value is low, he does a Yurchenko-style vault, which can tend to be cleaner and score higher, but he had a 3/10 hop backwards and even potentially out of bounds there, which is going to hurt his score a little bit.
Yeah, he had that outstanding 14.7 at the Big Ten Championships last time around. This will probably not be in the vicinity of that one, as here comes Connor McCool, 13th ranked on the floor, 13th ranked on the vault, averaging better than a 14.4 so far this season. He looks to start things off strong for Illinois.
What appears to be a stick, but with a bit of a hop.
Yeah, it's just a 1/10 hop there, not going to hurt the score too much. And Connor is really great at putting that down and sticking that landing.
Galloping into it with so much speed and power, and that should be a decent start for Illinois as Landon Blix is up next. The Michigan native averaging nearly 14 on vault so far this season, a 13.983 for him on average in his previous meets.
And Landon is also going to be doing the Yurchenko-style vault, which could produce a massive score if it goes well for Michigan.
He's got that 15.2 starting value. We'll see if he's able to get in the ballpark of that as he's cleared for takeoff. Cummings' score coming in at a 14.1.
A bit of a step out of bounds for him today.
So he'll get 3/10 off for the step and another additional 10th for the out of bounds there. But should still score pretty well with that vault.
And nothing catastrophic so far for the Wolverines, but it hasn't been their cleanest work yet. As Evan Manavong steps up, the two-time CGA Vault All-American, seven-time Vault event champion. Guy who really does it in all aspects in the classroom as a Big Ten Distinguished Scholar, 2021 Humanitarian Award recipient, and Big Ten Sportsmanship honoree. I mean, this guy does a little bit of everything, brings everything you could want to the table as he gets going on this vault.
And a nice vault there, small hop, foot on the line. Not sure if they'll take the out of bounds there, but much better vault than last weekend for Evan.
Blix with a 14.3. Coming in for the Wolverines as here goes Fred Richard making his debut for the season on vault. But obviously he has done this plenty of times and done it extremely well. All-American in 5 different events last season. I don't think it's an overstatement to say he is one of the best male gymnasts in the world right now. As he collects himself for this run-up.
Bit of a stumble backwards, but clean in the air, should score pretty well for Fred there.
He did stay in bounds too.
Yes, yes. And I wouldn't say that's vault is exactly his strong suit, but he can still put up a good score for Michigan.
That's his lowest start value of all his events, but still very respectable as he executes it in a respectable manner as well, bringing up the 6th-year man for Illinois, Michael Fletcher, the 2021 Vault Big Ten champion.
Big step forward there, but clean in the air. Should produce another good score for the Illini.
Haven't seen anything catastrophic for either of these teams. They're really showing their pedigree and consistency right now, as here comes David Wolma, averaging a stellar 14.8 on vault so far, two-time vault All-American in each of his first 2 seasons, and several times a specialist of the week for his efforts. Finished 3rd in the NCAA vault finals last year with a sensational 14.9, so he's capable of putting up some astronomical tallies for Michigan.
And a bit of a stumble back there, which is uncharacteristic for Wolma there, as he has stuck multiple vaults already this year. But he stays on his feet and gets another hit set for Michigan.
Yeah, really nice work by Wolma to move those feet and stay up. Showing some of that body control, as here comes Amari Sewell, the CGA and NCAA Vault All-American, 4-time vault event winner last season. Solid scores for the Illini so far. 14-6 for Manabal, and then 14-6-5 for Fletcher. See if Sewell can bank a 3rd consecutive 14.5 plus.
And a huge vault there. 310 stop on the landing, but there's not much else to take on Amari's vault.
With his season high of 14.45, this definitely was a very clean stick. Well, not stick, but a clean vault routine.
And Paul Judah ready to go for his 4th event already. If there's Michigan Gymnastics happening, Paul Judah is going to be a part of it. The all-around participant, the anchor on the vault, averaging a 15 on the vault so far this season. Capable of some tremendous scores in this discipline. Looking for one more right now.
And a very clean vault there. Small hop backwards, but he lands it.
You could see the determination etched into his countenance as he ran up and took flight. And he has been having a terrific day so far for the Wolverines. And here comes the freshman, Garrett Schooley. We saw him with a gritty routine on rings in his season debut in that facet. This guy is terrific at vault, starting at a potential 15.6. And if he can put it on his feet, if he can land it, it's going to be a massive score. He's going to go with that triple full for the Illini. A big gymnast to watch in this program. The Illinois coaches counting on him for a big score. We'll see if he can deliver.
Oh, and he puts the triple down. That is going to be a massive score. 15-6 start value, clean in the air, and potential 3/10 hop, but with that start value, it really doesn't matter how big the hop is. As long as you land it, you're going to put up a massive 14-plus score there.
That was incredible.
And a great anchor spot for the Illini there. They're going to take an even greater lead after vault.
First reduction is a deviation from the
Well, folks, this event is being produced by students at the University of Illinois as part of the Big Ten Network Student View program, an on-campus experience that is unique to the Big Ten. Student View is part of an educational mission to teach the next generation of sports production professionals. For more information, visit BigTenNetwork.com/StudentView. Well, blinking you miss it, that's 4 rotations already in the books. We will be back momentarily for what proves to be an outstanding finish between these two top 5 programs in the nation. The Illini maintaining their edge heading into the final two. Stay with us. Hello all and welcome back to Champagne's. Ethan Oscroba here alongside Kaylee Hill and Dylan Shepard. The Illini clinging to a slight edge over number 4 Michigan in what has been a terrific meet so far with 2 rotations to go.
One fact to mention is the Illini actually just broke their program record on the vault with a 72.9 there.
Outstanding work from Illinois to continue to buoy their lead as they start to rewrite the program record books. Folks, there's no plus like home on Big Ten Plus. In addition to live games, your subscription includes exclusive access to Big Ten Network's library of classic games, award-winning original programming, and specially curated digital channels that highlight your favorite Big Ten school 24/7. Explore all Big Ten Plus has to offer on the app or at BigTenPlus.com. All the parallel bars on the horizon, and of course the high bar looming to finish things off. And while Illinois does have a slight edge here of a couple of points, that's one that could evaporate pretty quickly depending on the big scores that Michigan can pull up. These last 2 events really their forte, as Alex Tapanis another freshman, will start things off for Illinois.
You know, we're seeing so many young athletes here. A lot of them are freshmen starting, and it's just really amazing to see how they're so young and this such a young team, but they are so highly ranked in the country. It's insane.
A bit of a mistake on the first skill there. He had a pike and then take an extra swing out, which is going to be a deduction. He's gearing up for the dismount now. And a 3/10 hop back on the double pike dismount. Not exactly what he was looking for, but he stays on the bar.
Still a solid start for him. His dad, Ariel, he pitched for the Cuban international baseball team, and this dude is an ace in the making in his own sport. The 7-time high school state champ and blue chip prospect, delivering at the collegiate level to start it off for Illinois. As now his opposite number in the leadoff spot, Logan McCown, will set it off. The parallel bars specialist, averaging better than a 14 on this event so far this season for the Wolverines. Guy really came into his own as a consistent lineup piece on this apparatus last year and notched over a 14 in his effort, culminating in the NCAA team finals back in April.
One big thing that the judges are looking for is the hand movements while the gymnasts are in a handstand. Even the slightest movement on the hands can be a 1/10 deduction for every step, just like that. One step is 1/10. And a unique skill there.
It really enhances the difficulty and will probably give him a few good points if he really executes it well.
That terrific start value, potential to be in the high 15s theoretically.
And a 3/10 step backwards, but a really nice routine, and it should produce a good score for Michigan there.
A respectable work as well from Tapanis, who got a 12.9. Not exceptional, but he kept it clean and managed to hit the routine for Illinois, as did McCown, who will likely give Michigan a slight edge in this rotation so far. So here comes Logan Myers, guy who is just averaging a 12.8 on this apparatus so far this season. Minimal appearances with it. So trying to put up a big score. Obviously, this Illinois team believes in him, his practice regimen, what he's shown them in the gym. They'll have a chance to show it in front of the crowd today and in front of the judges here at Huff Hall.
A very clean handstand from him.
Small step there. Illinois is looking to just stay on the bar. They have a 3-point lead coming into this event, and so it's going to be important to, with their lower start values, to just clean routines and stuck landings.
Yeah, you get the sense that if Illinois takes care of what they need to take care of, they would win with a 3-point lead, right? But Michigan has the potential to make up so much ground, especially with that vaunted trio of Judah, Richard, and Crew Bold on the high bar that we'll see at the end there. So still pressure on Illinois as Myers finishes up.
Again, a 3/10 step on that landing. Overall clean routine.
Now Evgeny Somanek, up the Ontario, Canada native. Guy who's capable of putting up some huge scores on this apparatus. He's appeared on the parallel bars in every meet of his career entering this season. Second team All Big Ten a season ago, and an NCAA All-American on parallel bars in 2021 and 2022. Guy who's definitely lived up to the billing that he had coming out of high school as a 5-star recruit, and according to College Gym News, the #2 recruit in the nation. He's manifested that potential in a really nifty way throughout his career so far, especially on the parallel bars and the high bar, where he'll look to help Michigan make up ground and try to steal this meet from the Illini.
And as you can see with the first two guys who have gone, Michigan is already starting to creep onto Illinois' lead. A clean Healy there. Nice off-star element there. So far, so good for Evgeny. And a nice stuck dismount there. That is going to produce a massive score for Michigan.
He's dealt with pressure and expectations for his entire career, and he just continues to produce. Excellent work from Evgeny Semenek. As here comes that man one more time. It is Tate Costa for Illinois, the 4-event gymnast, and probably none more vital than this one right here, as he looks to provide a big routine for Illinois as things get a little dicey here late. Coach Ribeiro of the Illini said he wants to have at least a 3-point advantage heading into that final routine, or rather that final apparatus being the high bar. These guys have got a little bit of work to do to set them up for success here at the end.
And Tate has the potential to put up a massive score with a hit routine. He has amazing upper bar work with that skill right there called the Makoots, and into the Healy there, very nice.
There's a guy that set a career high of some sort in every single meet this season, including one a couple of meets ago here on parallel bars, where he took home his first career bars event title.
And a slight shuffle backwards, but it's going to be an amazing score for Illinois.
Incredible control from Tate. Incredible.
He's got so much confidence and composure, especially for such a young gymnast in just his second season. A captain, a 4-event competitor, and really the bedrock of this Illinois team. As here comes Crew Bold, really strong in each of these final 2 events, on the parallel bars and the high bar. Guy who's a Big Ten veteran. He transferred from Minnesota after spending his first 2 seasons there. Now in his 3rd season with Michigan, he's been a contributor every single year of his college career.
Michigan continues to lessen the lead from Illinois, as it's only 1.2 for the Illini right now.
This showdown is only getting more intense as we go on, with only 1 event remaining after this.
Some like separations here, but he's staying on the bar, and that's what Michigan needs. He has some great underbar work with the peach and giant elements. He's gearing up for a big double front dismount and a small hop forward. Great routine for Crew there.
And we've seen this consistently really all afternoon long. The Illini have stayed clean, but they need Michigan to make a few mistakes, and the Wolverines just have not opened the door. They've just executed at a really high level. Only 2 falls for Michigan and 1 for the Illini. That's really been the story of this competition so far. And we said going in, if Michigan executes, they are going to win this meet because they just have those higher start values. They're one of the strongest, most physical, most high-flying, most acrobatic and athletic teams in the nation. And they're showing that to great effect right now.
And Tate puts up a nice 13.75, which is exactly what the Illini need.
It is Will Hawk now on the bars. 10th ranked in the nation in this particular discipline. And with some of the Illini gymnasts in particular having a low start value on this apparatus, they are relying on him to put up a big score. Would love to see him up in the 14s with the Illini folks.
Some small bobbles here, but Will is extremely clean on every event. Again, a huge offside there.
All-American in this event.
Really nice step out there as he gears for this double pike dismount. And a huge stuck double pike for Will. That is going to produce a massive 14-plus score.
In gymnastics, we see a lot of teams having their heavy hitters go in the final few rounds, I guess I should say. And we're seeing that with both teams right now.
Well, Illinois needed that desperately. And they turned to Hawk, who knew the onus was on him to produce in a big way on that particular apparatus. He steps up and executes to perfection. This should be a really solid score for Will Hawk as Michigan gets those bars shocked up and prepped for Fred Richard. Folks, Big Ten Gymnastics is now all on one great Instagram account. Follow at B1G Gymnastics for the best Big Ten highlights, videos, and images straight to your feed. Join the community now on Instagram.
And this is going to be a massive routine for Fred coming here. He has the potential to score in the 15-plus range like he did at last year's NCAA championships when he won the parallel bars.
He was crowned a national champion, as you mentioned, Dylan, in this event as just a freshman. Such a prodigious talent. And he has the potential to really set Michigan up in an outstanding position here heading into the final routines of the day on that high bar.
A little bit over on that giant Dion, potentially a 3/10 deduction there. Another huge offside there. Fred is keeping things moving with a nice set so far. A little bit chest down and a 3/10 step there. Overall, going to put up a good score for Fred there.
And Michigan continuing to keep things clean and keep things smooth. And now the Illini in desperate need of a big-time moment. They turn to their 6th-year veteran, Michael Fletcher, to try to deliver. He's averaging a 13.65 on this apparatus so far this season. He's a guy who thrives under the pressure, 3-time first-teamer in the Big Ten, and an all-around All-American. In need of one more vintage moment for the Illini right here.
Good start there. Very clean on the Healy there. A little bit of a step there, just a 1/10 deduction. It goes pretty much right to handstand on that giant Dion, maybe 1/10 for the angle. So far, so good as he gears up for a nice double pike dismount. And just a small 1/10 hop there. Again, this is what Illinois needs. They're putting up hit routines, and that's what's going to keep their lead going.
Very clean stuff for the veteran. And Michigan turns to Javier Alfonso to try to cap off a strong rotation for them. The ring's probably his forte, but a solid parallel bar participant as well, and a noted clutch performer acting as the anchor for the Michigan Wolverines, who are looking to slice through the remainder of the Illini advantage heading into their strongest event on the high bar to close out this thrilling top 5 clash. As you can see, Alfonso, a respectable season high, but he's not gotten up in the 14s yet this year. Certainly something he's capable of with that 15.3 starting value.
A little bit of an arm bend and step on the Healy there. Again, a little shy of the handstand on that peach. Another nice bofsar there. A little bit of a hit with his legs. Could be a potential 3/10 deduction there. Good to pelt. A little bit of a low landing and large hop there. Still going to produce a nice score for Michigan, as the score for Michael Fletcher is a 14-1, which is exactly what they needed.
That was clutch work from Fletcher to try to keep the Illini in it as their lead erodes. Alfonso finishing strong enough for Michigan, but it's all going to come down to that final apparatus, the high bar. First things first, though, it'll be Paul Judah participating on the parallel bars for all-around purposes. I mean, the all-around gymnast in men's gymnastics has really gone the way of the dodo here, so such an impressive ability for him to do a little bit of everything, and his score will not contribute to the team's performance, but it will bolster his all-round total on the day as the teams migrate over to the all-important high bar. Judah gets set to mount.
Still waiting on the score for Javier to know what the margin of score is going to be between Michigan and Illinois. Illinois hoping for a 2 to 3 point advantage, but we'll see.
Yeah, the Illini will almost certainly have a lead, and the score coming in for Alfonso, and Illinois is still going to have the advantage, but not by as much as they would like. Michigan has to be feeling really comfortable here, down by less than 2 points as Alfonso notches a 13.1. He did what he had to do as Judah goes to work for his all-around.
Nice bofsar there from Judah.
A strange scenario for Judah here. All of his teammates, or at least all of the Illinois side, his teammates sticking around, but all of the Illinois contingent already over there at that bar. A little less intensity here.
Big hop back for Judah, but still going to put up a nice score.
He's able to put it in the books, but no doubt a good bit of his focus remaining on that final event for Michigan. The high bar, as it's all going to come down to this competition, very much still in the balance. Especially in men's gymnastics, we can see those seemingly significant, seemingly insurmountable edges fall away in a very ephemeral unit of time. It does not take long for those leads to wither away.
to their straight body shape.
This is what it's coming down to, the final event, to see who's truly going to take over, Illinois or Michigan.
And the Illini were able to apply some pressure to Michigan, as you see their terrific starting lineup with that trio of Bold, Richard, and Alfonso. And now Bold, Richard, and Judah, their lineup on the horizontal bar. Here's the vaunted trio, one of the best in the nation. The Illini applied a measure of pressure to Michigan, but I think they're feeling very comfortable being down by less than 2 points going into their strongest event, as Rethik Puri is about to get it going for Michigan. You have a look at Illinois' lineup, a solid lineup, but this isn't really a separator for them. This is not an event where they're going to pull away on a team that is one of the best in the country at it. You figure right now, if Michigan keeps things clean, they set themselves up for success.
It's really going to come down to the wire here. Back and forth between Michigan and Illinois. Illinois needs to stay on the bar if they want to keep their chances of winning alive.
Yeah, and this last routine's so difficult. Obviously, the mental challenge is paramount in every aspect of gymnastics. But Kaylee, I want to ask you, when it comes down to the wire like this, is there any added pressure knowing that your team's fate hangs in the balance?
Oh, absolutely, 100%. Right now, all I'm thinking right now, and I think you can agree to this, is that these athletes are in the stage and the mindset of what is it going to take for us to come out on top. And it's also a battle, like we've said before a million times, it's a battle with yourself. There's a lot of mental and physical challenges that come with it, but we're going to see that all play out right in front of us right now.
Absolutely, as Puri mounts, and yeah, it's an individual event, but I think both of these teams really relishing the opportunity to take on and try and take down a Big Ten rival.
Ooh, and a fall on the casino there for Rithik.
Definitely not the start Michigan is looking for, but great to see him get back to his feet after a hard fall as he tries to collect himself and hop back up there. Was able to brace himself a little bit on that cushion, but still, you're coming down from a tremendous altitude with a ton of velocity. Great to see him spring back to his feet there.
And the biggest thing here for the gymnast is just to take the routine skill by skill. In a high stress moment like this, you need to be confident in your gymnastics and just put everything you have out there, take it skill by skill, and you should be able to put up a good score.
And he stays on the bar.
Big Coleman release there. He's going to be looking to minimize the deductions after already having a 1-point fall. And a nice laid out half and half out dismount. 3/10 step. Not going to be what Michigan wants, but still not over.
Puri giving his team a chance to win. Like a pitcher cutting it out through 6 innings when he doesn't have his curveball. He finds a way to dig in deep, have the mental tenacity to get through that and avoid a second major deduction. Mental and physical toughness impressive from Puri, as it has been all career for this guy. Evan Manavong looking for one more big-time delivery for Illinois. He's been doing it for 5 seasons, and he'll start things off on the high bar as the Illini look to maintain their lead.
And Evan doesn't have the highest start value, but he does it very clean, and so we're going to see what he has. Very nice Yamawaki there.
A lot of these bar routines, we see these athletes pushing through their arms, holding their core strength. You can definitely see Manabong is holding that together right now.
Yes, and Evan does a lot of the one-arm elements, which are really cool as he goes into that half talk there. Potential 3/10 deduction, but he's staying on the apparatus. Another one-arm giant there as he gets ready for his dismount. And a 3/10 hop there. Not exactly what he wanted, but he stayed on the bar, and it should produce a decent score.
That's not ideal, but for a guy where this is not his primary attribute, he did a nice job seeing it through to the finish. And likely gaining a few points there on Puri's routine, which of course was not a hit as he suffered that fall. So it's a good start for the Illini, but Michigan still has to feel comfortable with 4 gymnasts yet to go, including Evgeny Semenik. As we said earlier, a top-tier recruit. Doesn't have the highest start value on the high bar, but he executes it very nicely. Average of 13.8 on this so far this season.
And Rithik Puri coming in with an 11.65. That is definitely going to hurt Michigan there, but 4 routines left to go. It's going to be close.
The Illini now harboring just over a 3-point edge, which was the target, about a 3-point lead. And taking advantage of 3 Michigan falls to just 1 Illini fall that we saw earlier on the horse.
Very nice half-tuck to handstand there. And he puts the Kovacs down. Going to be a decent deduction on the giant out with bent arms. He's going into a unique set of skills here called German Giants, which he performs pretty well.
And a stuck landing for Michigan. This is what Michigan needs.
Well, Semenik, he's built for moments like this. He's been under pressure since he was a highly touted high schooler, and it has prepared him. He has been forged in the fire and delivers a terrific performance for Michigan when they needed him most. It'll set up Sebastian Ingersoll for Illinois. New career high on this apparatus earlier this season. Trying to deliver perhaps another career-defining performance in this top 5 clash.
Starts it out with the Yamawaki there. Little deduction on the giant out. Big release sequence here. Laid out Tkachev, right into a straddle Tkachev. Very nicely done for Sebastian. And again, into the pike Tkachev. He's staying on the bar. This is exactly what the Illini need right now. One arm element there. Just a few skills left here for Sebi. And now he's gearing up for a massive double-double dismount.
An incredible step.
That is going to be a huge score. Illinois will start to pull away with that routine right there.
This is only getting more intense as we're going on. With this being the last event, they are not putting down this fight.
And folks, probably the loudest this hometown crowd has been all afternoon long. And that is a moment that Ingersoll is going to hearken back to for quite some time if the Illini manage to fend off the Wolverines. It won't be easy, though, especially with the trio coming up. It is Krubold, Fred Richard, and Paul Judah, 3 of the best in the nation at high bar. And they are going to have to manifest every bit of their potential to save this meet for the Wolverines. Bold mounting it first.
Who's going to have some huge releases coming up. Very nice Casino there. He puts it on the bar. Again, into the Coleman element, staying on the bar. Bit of some form on the catch, but he's got such high difficulty that it's going to produce a good score. And that was a talk full, pretty much right to handstand. Again with the talk half. This is an incredible routine so far. Small hop back, but that is going to put up a massive, potentially 14+ score for Michigan, which is what they need with this deficit.
They absolutely needed it, and boy, oh boy, did they deliver. Crew Bold living up to his name, facing the moment and delivering under pressure. As Tate Costa will hop up there for the final time, his fourth and final event. The breakout star, the burgeoning sophomore, looking to add one more feather to the cap here for Illinois. Nobody works harder, according to the Illini camp, and you have to imagine that all his time in the gym has prepared him for a moment like this.
Tate's got a massive 15-2 start value. Very nice talk, right to handstand as he gears up for the Coleman. And he puts it right on the bar. Super nice there.
Staying on the bar is one of the most important things in a high bar. It is a key component.
Again, very clean on the Kovacs there as he finishes up his sequence of releases. Jam right to handstand. And now he's gearing up for the dismount. This is going to be a massive routine.
And a stick for the Illini once again.
Well, Tate Costa in just his second year as a collegiate gymnast, looking like he was made and fashioned for this out the womb. Absolutely terrific stuff from Tate Costa as he's continuing to sustain the Illini's precarious advantage in the face of this looming pair of absolute stars for Michigan, Fred Richard and Paul Judah. And here comes Richard, the NCAA's reigning champion in this event. What does he have in the tank for the Wolverines, who still need to make up a bit of a deficit here? You can't really put into words how clutch those last two routines for Ingersoll and Costa were for Illinois. They need every point that they can take as the final two standouts head to the bar.
Really clean Casino there. And again into the Coleman. Fred has the ability to put up a massive score here, potentially in the upper 14s. Another unique skill called the Liukin there. And this is going to be massive for Fred. Not his usual start value, taking out a few skills, but still a huge starting value.
And a stick for Michigan.
Absolutely sensational from Richard. Exactly what you expect from one of the best male gymnasts on the planet. He delivers with his back to the wall. And we are going to come all the way down to the final routines here. It is Ryan Vanich-Thorant, the Plainfield, Illinois native, with his first appearance tonight.
And Fred potentially won't get the value for the stick there because he kind of stepped back at the end, but we'll see what the judges do with that as Ryan gets set up. Tate put a huge 14-3 score up. Let's see what Ryan can do.
That could be a key adjudication to see if they give Richard the full value. We'll wait on that. But meanwhile, it seems like the ball is firmly in the Illini's court. If they finish strong, they can taste it at this point.
3/10 deduction there, a little bit late on the half talk, but a huge layout to Kocher.
Vanich-Thorant, known for clutch performances. He put up a then career high 13.4 on the high bar at the Big Ten Championship event finals last March.
As he gears up for the dismount. Small hop there, but a super clean routine, going to produce another massive score for the Illini.
And you see the joy and relief on his face. He steps up and delivers And now it's all going to come down to Paul Judah. He needs a huge effort to put the pressure on. It's been a terrific afternoon for Judah.
Well, we get so deep into this meet, and you're seeing all these athletes. We're getting down to the final scores. As an athlete, it's crazy to think, and maybe you can answer this for me, Dylan, but what do you think is going on in their heads as the final contestants, as they're like finally coming up in this? We're so neck and neck right now. What do you think is going on in their heads?
Yeah, especially for Paul right now, being the anchor at a deficit. I mean, his mind is racing, but he has to stay under control and know that with a hit set, they still have an opportunity to pull away with a victory. And Fred putting up a massive 14-9 score, which is definitely going to help Michigan in their deficit. Paul Judah is a very clean gymnast, as you can see from these release sequence.
Little bit of a slight turn.
And he actually what is called backdoored that Takamoto, which he went to the handstand and didn't fully make it over and ended up jumping down. The gymnast has the option to maneuver and swing out, but he decides to jump off, reset, which is a controversial move there. Potentially could have saved some points if he actually stayed on the bar.
And you can see the disappointment wrought into Judah's face. He's been so terrific, so clean, and so uncharacteristic for him in a moment like this to falter and have a misstep.
He's going to look to finish up clean here to still give Michigan a chance.
A slight hop forward for him. Finishing strong after he's competed in every single event today.
So much mental toughness for this guy. He gets to the finish line of a terrific all-around afternoon, but obviously a little bit disappointed at that slight miscue that cost him his routine weight. And now, folks, it's within the Illini's grasp. The stage is set. The final page is in the hands of the senior from Morrison, Colorado, number 6 in the high bar in the nation, Logan Myers.
The pressure is on right now, guys.
And really all Logan needs is to stay on the bar with a massive lead over Michigan now.
The Illini had close to a 2.5-point edge before that routine from Judah, which will likely score low due to the deduction, the 4th missed routine for Michigan. And so if Myers can keep it clean, the Illini will likely emerge the victor in this top 5 class.
A little bit shy of handstand on the Takamotos, but he puts the laid out Tkachev on the bar. And nice connection there. Straddle Tkachev into pike Tkachev for Logan Myers as he gears up for the dismount.
What an incredible finish for the Illini. An absolute stuck dismount.
And they are going to blow the roof off of this historic old building here at Huff. Myers delivers in a huge way. And it's jubilation for the Illini. It's all over but the shouting. Almost certainly an Illinois victory. A really strong and mostly clean performance from the Wolverines as well, but the execution was really on point from Illinois, guys.
And that should produce a massive score to seal the deal for Illinois over Michigan.
The crowd is so ecstatic right now. Energy is so high for the Fighting Illini.
Just waiting for the score for Logan.
They'll make it official here momentarily, but this was a really strong performance. I mean, 410.25, an outstanding score for Michigan. They really threw down the gauntlet. They impressed today. They showed why they're one of the best teams, but just a couple of minor missteps, and Illinois did not have many of those at all, and there it is, 413.8, the final tally for Illinois.
Let's meet our contestants. Representing the Illini Motion Dance Team.
Well, guys, we mentioned that the Illini had to be really clean in order to win this. Only one fall on the day for this team. Dylan, how did they make it happen?
I mean, as you can see, they were staying on the bar, and on honestly all the events. One fall is pretty good at this point in the season. As you can see, Michigan had 4 or 5 falls, which is really what did it for them. So even though Michigan had a huge start value, Illinois executed their routines and put up a new season high.
Yeah, it was a thrilling battle, and Kaylee, got to touch on Michigan here. They put up a strong performance. They showed why they're number 4, but 7-0 coming in, they take their first loss of the season. How do they get back to training and find a way to recoup from this tough defeat?
You know, truly, like any other sport, it's about the mindset. The work you put in, the mindset that you have. You got to just keep pushing forward, especially this late in the season. Recovering from something like this, recovering from falls, recovering from anything that happens. It's all about leaving it on the floor, leaving it on the mat, leaving it on the ring. So going forward, hopefully they'll be able to bring it a little more together.
Yeah, a terrific battle between these two top 5 programs for a reason. This one did not disappoint, but the Illini emerged the victors at home. Well, that wraps things up for today. So for my broadcast partners, Kaylee Hill and Dylan Shepard, and our entire Big Ten Plus crew, my name's Ethan Ostrova, and I'm saying so long from Huff Hall. Once again, the final score, Illinois defeats Michigan 413.8 to 410 1/4. We thank you for watching this Big Ten Network Student U production by the University of Illinois. Have a great rest of your night.